Corruption is a curse that afflicts many countries. It has become a major cause of concern throughout the world, especially for developing and underdeveloped countries. Corruption is the reason why developmental efforts of government have not been largely successful. It is a duty of you and I to say no to corruption by joining the crusade. Good evening. It is nice joining you again after a long vacation. My name is Aisha Gambari. With me is Aisha Muhammad.
Hello, Aisha.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
I can see you're relaxed and refreshed. So I hope you're back with enough
energy to
kickstart
again. Of course, you know, they say all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you absolutely. Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the program, Your Window to the Activities of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Court admits 2 documents tendered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, against a former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Usman Jibrin.
Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has urged the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, to join in the war against corruption.
We will also bring you a repeat of the EFCC documentary titled Change Agenda, the EFCC Perspective. Please stay with us. We will be back after the break. Don't go away.
Well, my name is Alhaji Lai Mohammed. I am the Minister of Information and Culture. My message to Nigerians is that we should treat corruption the same way we treat cancer. In other words, we should wage war against corruption. If we do not wage war against corruption, we will lose everything. We will not be able to develop, we will not be able to provide for the people, we will not be able to secure our country.
We'll begin with a report on proceedings in the trial of a former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Usman Jibrin, before Justice A.S. Umar of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, sitting in Maitama, Abuja, as the court admits 2 documents tendered by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Here's Amina Kawua with the report.
At the last sitting on June 14, 2017, there were arguments and counter-arguments between Jibrin's counsel, YC Mikel, SCN, and counsel to the EFCC, Farouk Abdullah, on whether the document tendered by the latter against the defendant is admissible in evidence or not. The documents are the Appropriation Act of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2013 and 2014 on one hand, and the second application is the Appropriation Act of the National Assembly for 2013 and 2014 laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the other hand. Mikel had argued that the document sought to be tendered by the prosecution did not satisfy the provisions of Section 106 of the Evidence Act, while Abdullah cited Section 122, Subsection 1, Subsection 2 of the Evidence Act to the effect that the document tendered are admissible. In his ruling, however, Justice Umar admitted the two documents as exhibits. In delivering the ruling, the judge said, and I quote, "I have read carefully and examined the relevant act. The prosecution has conformed to Section 106 of the Evidence Act." End of quote. Justice Umar thereafter adjourned to July 13 to 14, 2017 for continuation of trial. Jibrin is facing trial alongside Rear Admiral Bara Mishelia, Rear Admiral Shehu Ahmadu, all retired, and Harbour Bay International Limited on a 4-count charge of criminal conspiracy preferred against them by EFCC. The naval chiefs, while in office, allegedly bought a house worth 600 million naira from the account of Naval Engineering Services without budgetary provision. It was also alleged that the documentation for transfer of ownership of the property was done such that a private company owned by the family of the first defendant became the buyer. Amina Kawa, reporting for The Eagle.
Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has urged the National Information Technology Development Agency (NIDDA) to join in the war against corruption. Sylvia Mbamalu has more on this.
He made the call while playing host to the Director General, NIDDA, Dr. Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, and its management staff at the EFCC head office. Magu said the Commission can never claim monopoly of knowledge in waging a successful war against corruption. The anti-graft czar, who highlighted the ills of corruption, stressed that agitations and kidnappings in the country were as a result of corruption.
We will support what you are doing. If you want, we will have a desk. If there is any need to, then you just give us a call. We'll create a desk here so that if you need us, they will just come. And if there is anybody that needs support of all Nigerians in doing what we are doing, I think it is the EFCC. We never claim that we have the monopoly of the knowledge, but we are willing to fight. But we cannot fight without the common consensus of the Nigerians to join hands in the fight against corruption.
The EFCC boss encouraged NIDDA to join hands with the EFCC in the fight against corruption, stressing that all stakeholders must be united to serve the country, because corruption is a threat to the survival of Nigeria and a threat to the unity of the country. Pantami, while commending the Commission and its leadership's commitment to the fight against corruption, pledged NIDDA's support for the EFCC. According to him, the essence of the visit was to see how the EFCC can support NIDDA when it comes to regulation of IT projects in Nigeria. He noted that there were many information technology IT projects in the budget, but nothing to write home about as regards development of the sector. The NIDDA boss stressed the need for strict regulations, noting that the projects are brought up in every budget, but there is no justification for them.
We feel like we need to come here, have a meeting with you to see how EFCC can support NIDDA when it comes to regulation of IT projects in Nigeria. I believe that for you to put an eye on this and to support National Information Technology Development Agency, it will go a long way in supporting our regulation and at the same time to make sure that IT projects are not being used in siphoning government money.
He further used the opportunity to canvass for a working group to comprise of staff of EFCC and NIDDA. Sylvia Mbamalu reporting for The Eagle.
Corruption is a cankerworm, na cankerworm. I say na cankerworm, na cankerworm. Corruption don't finish our country. Nigeria women rise up and come together, oh yeah.
Every woman come out, but we fight corruption together, oh. Every woman fall out, but we kill corruption together, oh.
Them they thief our money, send them obodo yibo. Children they suffer every day, better school in no day. Nigeria women come, oh, women from every sector, make we fight corruption, we won't kill our country. Them go collect money for light, chop the money, light we no see. Good road and good health and call, we no see. I said na cankerworm, oh, na cankerworm, oh.
Join the EFCC in its crusade to rid Nigeria of corruption. Naija, now we all know.
Glad to have you back. The program is The Eagle, coming to you from the stables of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC. You too can be part of this program by dropping your comments via our social media portals at Official EFCC across all the social media networks. Next on the program is a special documentary titled Change Agenda, the EFCC Perspective. Happy viewing.
That corruption remains a major problem in Nigeria hardly does justice to the efforts being made to tackle the malay. Perhaps those who have had the opportunity of working closely with the anti-corruption agencies can truly appreciate the efforts and sacrifices of the officers who daily toil to tackle a malay that has become virulent, undermining the nation's economic health. Indeed, former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Kanu Agabi was spot on when he remarked recently at an award ceremony organized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC that the men and women that the nation shall remember are those like you who are serving selflessly and honestly. The men and women that the world has immortalized are not those who sacrificed others, but those who sacrificed themselves. The sacrifices which officers of the EFCC have made for their country can be better appreciated through a dispassionate appraisal of the activities of the anti-graft agency in the last few years under Ibrahim Magu as acting chairman. Not many Nigerians would have forgotten the public profile of the agency before Magu took the reins. Activity profile was low, with many chickling calling the commission a toothless bulldog that was deep slumber. That era seemed consigned to the dustbin of history. Magu has succeeded in restoring the credibility of the agency through a carefully designed program of reprofessionalization that set new benchmark for professional and ethical conduct among officers and men. The emphasis on professionalism meant that the Commission had to set new ways of doing things and a new paradigm shift in its operations. The gains of the reforms are manifest for all to see. For the year ended 2016, the agency recorded about 200 convictions, with assets tuning into several billions of naira recovered. In the first quarter of 2017, EFCC announced it has recorded over 100 convictions in the light of the shenanigans that goes on in the Nigerian judicial system. Perhaps more significant is the fact that the record includes that of a former governor, oil magnate, who profited from a dubious subsidy regime, among others. On January 26, 2017, Justice Latifa Okunu of the Lagos High Court Ikeja convicted Walter Wabasoma, Chairman, Ontario Oil and Gas Limited, and Ada Ugongadi, Managing Director of the company, on an 8-count amended charge bordering on conspiracy, obtaining by false pretense, conspiracy to commit forgery, and altering of documents in an oil subsidy fraud. The EFCC had in 2013 accused them of involvement in a 1.9 billion naira oil subsidy fraud. The judge sentenced them to 10 years for conspiracy, 10 years for obtaining by false pretense, 7 years for conspiracy to commit forgery, 8 years for forgery, and 8 years for altering of documents. On March 1, 2017, a former caretaker chairman Ogorimagogo local government area of Kogi State, Gabriel Daudu, lost his appeal to overturn the guilty verdict passed on him by Justice Iyang Eko of the Federal High Court Lokoja. Daudu was on April 25, 2016, convicted on 77 counts of fraud and sentenced to 2 years on each of the count for which he was convicted. On March 6, 2017, EFCC secured the conviction of former Adamawa State Governor Bala Ingilari in a trial that was concluded in 7 months. Justice Nathan Musa of the Adamawa State High Court sentenced him to 5 years in prison for procurement fraud. It was a landmark achievement for the EFCC, being the first time in about 7 years that a former state governor prosecuted by the anti-graft agency will be convicted by a Nigerian court. On April 7, 2017, Justice Adebukola Banjoko of the Federal Capital Territory High Court Gudu convicted Jibril Ruwaye, his company Brila Energy Limited and Alminor Resources Limited for a 1.05 billion naira subsidy fraud. Other notable convictions include the conviction of Innocent Clinton and Emmanuel Okani by Justice Saad Muhammad of Gombe State High Court on March 23rd for 2 counts of conspiracy and theft brought against them by the EFCC. They were found guilty on an 864,000 naira fraud, which they perpetrated by hacking into bank accounts using stolen bank verification numbers through which they duped their victims. These convictions are indicative of improved investigation and prosecution by the EFCC in the last 2 years. Perhaps the most phenomenal achievement by the Commission is in the area of recovery of stolen funds. In the first quarter of 2017, the Commission, acting on intel from whistleblowers, uncovered huge cash, some hidden in the most unlikely places. The cash haul include the $43 million, £27,000, 23 million naira cash stashed in a private residence located on Osborne Road, Ikoyi, Lagos. The Commission had also recovered $9.8 million and £74,000 from the home of a former group managing director of NNPC, Andrew Yakubu, located in the slum of Sabon Tasha, Kaduna. Equally, another whopping sum of 448,500,000 naira were recovered from a shop of Legico Shopping Plaza, Victoria Island, Lagos. Still in Lagos, 442 million naira and 250 million naira were equally uncovered in Legico Shopping Complex and Balogun Market, both in Lagos. The EFCC also intercepted a cash haul of about 49 million naira at the Kaduna International Airport. In total, the Commission has recovered the sum of 35,930,373,278 naira 50 kobo and $975,694.50 as final forfeiture from the popular Arms Gate, or the Suki Gate as it's popularly called. Also, an interim forfeiture has been granted on 6,489,645,390 naira 58 kobo, 15,823,725.77, $74,790.65, $8,821.63, all from the Dasuki Gate. The list is not exhaustive. In the vigorous pursuit of its law enforcement mandate, the Commission in the last 2 years sent a forceful message that impunity would no longer be condoned by taking on the high and mighty in the society. For the very first time in the history of Nigeria, senior military officers, including former service chiefs, were investigated and arraigned on corruption charges. The now infamous Arms Gate, or the Suki Gate saga, has witnessed the prosecution of the likes of Air Marshal Alex Badi, former Chief of Defence Staff, Adeshola Amosun, former Chief of Air Staff, and several other serving and retired generals for allegedly siphoning monies meant for the procurement of arms for the fight against insurgency in the northeast into their pockets. There is also the investigation into the $115 million Dizani Alison Madueke bribe meant to influence the outcome of the 2015 presidential elections, for which many politicians and officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission are currently being prosecuted in court. Also, 7 judges and very senior lawyers are equally standing trial for corruption. They include Justice Rita Ajumogobia, Justice Unguta, etc. While it has taken its law enforcement endeavors to new heights, the EFCC on the Magu has not lost sight of its preventive mandate. Compelled by a realization that the fight against corruption can only acquire the needed attraction if all Nigerians have a buy into the campaign, the Commission created a project to mobilize all Nigerian women to become active combatants in the anti-corruption army. The Women Against Corruption program was flagged off on December 7, 2016 at the International Conference Center, Abuja, with the wife of the President, Hajia Aisha Buhari, as co-convener and guest of honor. Zonal rollout of the Women Against Corruption program commenced almost immediately with the Southwest Zonal rollout taking place in Lagos, February 22, 2017. Other zones are billed to follow soon. The Ibrahim Magu-led EFCC also hosted the first ever anti-corruption summit at the EFCC Academy Cairo, Abuja, tagged Building National Anti-Corruption Consensus in a Multi-Agency Environment on March 27, 2017. Present were Adams Oshomole, former Edo State Governor, Chukwuka Utazi, Chairman Senate Committee on Anti-Corruption and Financial Crimes, Kayode Oladele, Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Drugs, Narcotics and Financial Crimes, Justice Joseph Oyewole of the Court of Appeal, among other dignitaries. At the summit, Magu assured Nigerians that every kobo taken illegally from the Treasury will be traced, recovered and returned. Furthermore, the Commission has strengthened its communications section with the creation of a Directorate of Public Affairs, which in the last couple of years stepped up the Commission's sensitization efforts through 3 units in the department, namely Media and Publicity Unit, Public Interface and Enlightenment and Reorientation Units. A 4th unit, Media Academy, organized training and refresher courses for media and public relation officers of law enforcement agencies. Using various media platforms, including the traditional and social media, the department stepped up the tempo of sensitization and public education on financial crimes issues. Aside from churning out a number of enlightenment publications, the Commission's media presence is buoyed by through the extension of the broadcast of its weekly electronic media program, The Eagle, to more stations. It currently airs on 4 English and 1 Hausa station. The online platforms of the Commission presently are Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Audioboo, YouTube, and Instagram. People do not need to physically visit the Commission to receive answers to their questions on any issue, as the Commission's official email is actively used to receive and respond to international and local inquiries and complaints. The email is info@efccnigeria.org. Indeed, slowly but steadily, the anti-graft agency is altering the narrative of criminal prosecution in Nigeria and setting a standard for law enforcement agencies within and outside of the country. Global confidence in the EFCC has been restored under Magu. More donor organizations and foreign law enforcement agencies are now eager to do business with the EFCC, opening fresh lines of partnership and collaboration with the attendant benefit of improved capacity. The Commission is closely working with the U.S. Department of Justice, the FBI, UK National Crime Agency, UK Serious Fraud Office, United Kingdom, the Netherlands Police, to mention but a few. These relationships geared towards seamless investigations of transnational economic and financial crimes, as well as the tracing and recovery of looted funds and assets. The Commission has been actively involved in the tracing and recovery of stolen assets both within and outside jurisdiction. It has also been instrumental in securing the cooperation of countries such as the United Arab Emirates in supporting the anti-money laundering efforts of the Nigerian government. All this signposts the Magu-led EFCC's unflinching commitment to the anti-corruption mandate of the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration and its concurrence on the solemn verdict of the president that, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria. The EFCC has in 2 years shown that courage and dedicated leadership can bring to the table in our nation's quest to be free from the voice grips of corruption. Here are some graphical presentation of the achievement of the EFCC under the leadership of Ibrahim Mustapha Magu.
Aisha, that was a nice documentary, I must say. And kudos to the EFCC team for their courage and commitment in the discharge of their duties. We hope that the public will continue to give their support to the EFCC because the Commission alone cannot win the war.
Honestly, Aisha, like you said, all hands must be on deck in order to wage a successful war against corruption in this country.
Well, this is how far we can go on this week's edition of the program. Please join us again next week for another interesting package. Don't forget to also join us on our social media portals at Official EFCC across all the social media platforms. You can also send your comments to the Eagle at efccnigeria.org or search for us on Google Plus at Official EFCC or Official EFCCNG at gmail.com.
And to watch our programs and other activities, please log on to youtube.com/Official EFCC. My name is Aisha Mohammed. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
And I'm Aisha Gambari. See you again same time and on same station next week. God bless Nigeria.